Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite podcast entitled We Hate You Internet! All right, gather around once again. We are back and we in this thing. This is We Hate You Internet. It's a podcast designed to bring awareness of the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. I'm your host, Wilford Hamilton, and today we are talking about a very important topic: why we are running out of time. And I think that it is one of the like I said, one of the most paramount or one of the most important reasons why people are having the difficult times that they're having in their lives, the mental anguish and things that's made, the anxiety and all this. It is because of the way that they are interacting with the time that we have. And I want to make sure I clarify that. Uh, we live in a world with very specific and set realities, right? And the technology that we've incorporated into our lifestyles has created a very uh, artificial alternative to that natural order. And so obviously, like we talk about these things oftentimes in various episodes, and these are the things, these things when this artificial reality that we live in or that we create, this artificial system, it causes conflict with the natural order that we are all subject to, and it causes mental anguish, and it causes a lot of issues, right? So I said a whole lot, so I'll just simplify. Your false sense of reality clashes against the nature that we're all a part of, which we oftentimes forget. You know what I mean? And it causes us to have discrepancies in our mental state and things of that nature, right? And so I want to kind of explore that a little bit more. You know, people say, "Man, I don't have enough time." You know what I mean? That's the complaint. Like, man, I don't have enough time. But the reality is that you do have time. The real issue comes down to what you're doing with the time that you have, and most of the time it's because you're wasting your time. It's because of your preoccupations, all the stuff that has you distracted from things that you want to do. You know what I mean? Like the procrastination in life. And I don't want to just like fuss and get up here and just sit on my high horse and point down and fuss at everybody because it's the same thing for me. You know what I mean? Like whenever I find myself overwhelmed, or I feel like I can't get stuff done. It's not that I don't have the time. It's just that I'm not properly functioning with the time that I do have. That is the issue. I had it recently. You know what I mean? I missed the episode last week. It was for that very reason because I procrastinated. I had some stuff going on, but um, I found time to play the video game for a little while, stuff like that. So it all comes down to what you do with your time. I'm gonna throw something out there for you, and to I want you to really think about this. First thing, 86,400. 86,400. That is how many seconds roughly that each of us have in each day that we live. You know what I mean? That's a really powerful thing to understand, right? It seems simple, but I want you to really understand our time in our lives and in this world has been measured for quite some time. The same hour that you live today is the same hour that your grandparents had and their grandparents had and the grandparents before them. You see what I'm saying? Like time has not changed. And like as easy as that is to say, I really need you to understand and grasp what I'm saying. Time has not changed. You know what I'm saying? It is only your perception of time that has changed. You know what I mean? Uh, I talk about the disconnect from nature. Like people go outside and they take pretty pictures, what I'm saying, of the sky, but people don't realize that that big ball of light in the sky has a purpose. It is for timekeeping. That is what it was created for, right? It helps us keep track of time on the earth. The reasons why you have your iPhones and you look on your, I mean, your iWatches, Apple Watches, and your timepieces and your clocks in your home, or the clocks in your vehicles, or the clock on your phone, right? The only reason why those things have any kind of value is because they are set based on the rotation of the sun in the sky, the rotation of the moon, the star patterns. Like that the calendars that we have, all that stuff is based on the movement of the cosmos. Like this is nothing new. I mean, people that study history and things like that, they understand the Aztecan um, calendar and their clock, the sundials that they created. Like people had time to sit, watch the sky, make notations, and they were able to see patterns. And through those patterns, they were able to calculate and measure time. Why am I talking about this? It's super important that you understand that there is a natural order of things. That time is a uh, quantitative. I always try to kind of use simpler words. Sometimes I'm like, you know, uh, I read sometimes, but but uh, time is a set quantity, uh, and the calculations of time are set. I'm saying all that to say, like I just said, like I said earlier, time, all of us have the same amount of time. Time has not changed. The amount of time that you have has not changed. The only thing that has changed is your perception and your usage of that time. Why is that powerful? Why is that so important? Why I keep harping on this? Because once you understand that all of us have the same amount of time, then you can understand how you can utilize and harness your time better because it is yours to use. Man, that just, whoo, if you can really understand the power of that statement, the 86,400 seconds that you get each day, you have complete control over how they are used. So important. That kind of information changes lives because you get to choose what you do with the time that you have on the earth. Like you get to choose. Now, there are other factors in life that take time from you that you have to devote time to, right? You have to go to work, you have children, your relationships, things and the other obligations, blah, 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 right? But you choose to give your time to those things. Once again, back to my original point, you choose. And so it's important that you grasp your time, that you harness your time, and that you keep track of your time. So when we talk about the issues or the reasons why we feel like we don't have enough time, right? I always look at it in three factors, right? Three factors. And I'm sure there are more things we can discuss, but I think these are the most prevalent. Age, right? So the age that you are in life, it will factor into your perception of time, right? Your preoccupations. So the things that you are focusing on, those things will affect your perception of time. The third thing is your mental state, your mentality. That will have a very heavy effect on your perception of time. I want to kind of go over those things and kind of give some examples. When you were young as a child, and think back for a moment with me. Let's go back down memory lane. You go back down and you think about when you were a child, you had no responsibilities, things of that nature, and how time moves so much slower. Or it seemed like once again, time has been the same. It's calculated the same. It always has. But our perception, how we interact with that time changes. When you're a child, your perception of like an hour it feels like you have so much time because you have so little information and responsibility and things that are occupying your mind, right? Your brain is brand new. Your brain is like a computer. Uh, when you have a computer fresh out the box, it has no memory on it. It doesn't have any kind of anything stored on it. It moves at optimal speed because it doesn't have to check so many different boxes and files and keep track of all these different things, right? It's boom, boom, boom. It's lightning quick. But as you continue to compile files and save and use up memory on that computer, it starts to bog down a little bit because it has to kind of keep track of all of this all this file, all this data, all this information. Same thing with our human brains. As you live and you start gathering more information, gathering more memories, gathering more experiences, gathering trauma, all these things, your brain is keeping track of all these things and balancing all these things. Like it starts to slow down and it starts to affect the functioning of your brain. And so it causes things to kind of either slow down or move faster. Really, when you start talking about your perception of time, as you get older, it moves a whole lot faster because you have so much information you're processing in your brain at any given time, right? That like time is moving. It feels like time is moving so much faster. I'm going now. All these things we're talking about are super important when we get to the end of this discussion. So, like I said, when you were a child, I remember going on rides. I think I talked about this before. I remember, living on the north side when I was young. Maybe 8 or 9 years old, and then I had an aunt. People that are familiar with the Houston area, when you have like Houston, Greater Houston area, and then you have like the outer, the outlier towns we call it Houston anyway, but the Bay towns and Spring and Kingwood and Conroe and Pearline. They are their own towns. 'Cause I know people like no. Then we our own city. But it's all considered basically like Houston. Listen, don't get it twisted. But I had an aunt who used to live in Katy, and it was probably about a 45, 50-minute drive from our home to our aunt's home. We used to go for our family functions, things of that nature. And that ride when I was 8 or 9 years old felt like an eternity. It felt like we were traveling to across the world. You know what I mean? But that drive now is nothing. You know what I mean? Like I'll blink 3 times and we'll be there. But it's only because of the perception of time that you had as a child. You don't have so many things that occupy your mind versus now when you finally have some time to kind of just sit. Like you have so many things that you can get that pass through your mind as you're driving, and those things keep you preoccupied so that you're not thinking about the amount of time that's passing. So I'm saying those of us that have been on the earth for a little while, you start realizing how fast a year passes. It's crazy. Like I remember we were just bringing in 2024. It's already September, the middle of September. We're gonna blink 3 times. It's gonna be 2025 like that. But that's how it feels like that, right? But the second, the measure of a second, the measure of a minute, the measure of an hour has not changed. It's only our perception of that time. So age is a factor. Preoccupation, right? The thing that you occupy your mind with. Now we finna start talking about how much time, like you have a little notification come on your phone, blah, blah, and it talks about screen time, how long you've been on your screen for this week. It tells you how long you averaged. And it's 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 15 hours on your phone, right? It measures that because, once again, time is a quantitative measurement. So it can measure how much time that you were on there. And you probably can't believe sometimes how much time that you spent with your face in front of that screen. And so, but it's because you're so distracted. We talked about this in the last episode about entertainment. You're so entertained in our society, especially like in America. And I think that it's prevalent everywhere in the world. Like entertainment, the definition of the word entertainment is just distraction, something that distracts you. Like it keeps your mind occupied. And while your mind is occupied or preoccupied with whatever this is that you're looking at, time is just passing along. You know what I mean? And if you're not actually utilizing that time is just passing you by. It's just flowing away from you. You know what I mean? And so, you know, these things will affect your perception. You'll sit down. I mean, I can, play the video game sometimes, and I'll be sitting there, and I'll, sit there. By the time I kind of, get playing and kind of get immersed into the experience, you look up 2 hours have passed, just like that. Boom. You know what I mean? And if you have a pastime that you really enjoy, and you kind of get yourself involved with it, 2 or 3 hours can go by like this. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like I said, the time hasn't changed. It is your mind is preoccupied with something, and time is passing by as you've delved in mentally into this activity or whatever this thing is that you're doing. Once again, third thing we talked about mental state, right? Uh, and like people, like when people go through mental anguish, it's a normal thing. that's one thing I really want to focus on too, is helping people understand that, going through your different mental and emotional states in your life is normal. It's natural. It's okay for you to feel sad sometimes. Like, that's not nothing abnormal about that. Everybody is trying to go, everybody is so quick to go get some medicine. Man, all these commercials, uh, Prenzium, and then can't be out there riding horses on the commercial. They tell you all the side effects. Like suicidal thoughts, man. Can't be struggling out here. Everybody's so quick to pop a pill, and some of the stuff that you're going through may just be normal. It's just normal human activity, normal human stuff. It's stuff that you can fix by just basically like redefining your perception of things, like adjusting your thought process, adjusting your expectation. Like a lot of the things, the mental anguish and stuff that you go through, either A, like I say, it's normal human activity, normal human behavior, like processes that you go through mourning when somebody's dying. It's natural for you to not want to eat and like be sad and stuff like that. But then you have to kind of understand also that death is natural. You have to continue to move forward. Like, time is still passing. These are easy concepts to say, but because when you're going through it, it's difficult. And I think I always say when people are mourning, like I always pray for people to have a healthy mourning process, that they're able to mourn effectively. That's one of the things that I tell people all the time when they're going through stuff. And we have conversations, I'm like, make sure that you take the time to mourn effectively. Take the time to go ahead and cry. Now take the time to miss that person and think about them, and then get that, like, allow yourself, your mind to refocus and like recalibrate to like, okay, I need to live and kind of get moving. I had a chance to sit and just be sad for a while because I really am sad. I'm gonna miss that person. But then you finally have to have a moment where you kind of get up and kind of get rolling and kind of get back into the swing of things. That's normal too. Sometimes people feel bad about like moving forward after trauma, after sadness, after death. They feel bad about getting back up and moving forward. But that's natural. You know what I mean? Like, you see animals that babies get eaten, they sad, but then they kind of get up and get back rolling, get with the pack, eat, and go have some more babies. Like, you keep living. You don't just stop living just because something crazy happened. Like, that's not the way that you should function as a human being. And it's like I said, it's not to say that you're not sad and that you shouldn't be sad and that you won't be sad in the future, but you got to keep rolling. I talked about a couple of episodes ago about, some difficult situations I was going through, in my life. You know what I mean? I had a situation with one of my children, um, and I'm gonna say it, you know what I mean? Like, drugs involved and, you know, uh, bad decisions, just and just strayed away from the path that has been established and the training that has been given to that individual so that their life could be good and that they find themselves in really wild and crazy spots, and it's really sad. Like I had a moment where I had to really just be, me and my family, like we were really sad, because it's a sad thing. But then I had to tell myself that it's okay for me, and I told my family it's okay for us to move forward. We have to. We still alive. We still have to live. We can't just fall in the ditch and stay there. Like, yeah, you have some time where you can be sad, and we're gonna have moments in the future where we sad, and that's okay. That's natural too. It's nothing wrong with that. That don't mean something's wrong with you because you get sad every once in a while. Like, it's okay. But going back to the dark side, I went down a dirt road, kicking up dirt all up. Your mental state will affect your perception of time, right? Because if you think about being excited, when you're excited about something, you're anticipating something, right? Time feel like it's moving slow because you're like, man, what time is it? You're supposed to be going to this thing at 3. You got your outfit already picked out. You're ready to go. You see it in your head. You're excited. You're going to see the people. You're going to see the boys. You're going to see this girl. You're going to meet this person. Blah, 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 whatever. You know what I mean? And then time is like moving like a snail because you're excited and you're anticipating this time or this event, or vice versa. You may be sad or you may be uh, you know going through something and time just starts passing you by. You know what I mean? Like, you sit there and you ate and you didn't eat nothing. You just kind of sit when you. So it's like people may be going through the mourning process and they lose track of time. They'll wake up, just kind of sit around for a while and maybe eat a little bit of something and, go to sleep, go wake up, go back to sleep, man, before you know, the whole day has just passed you by. A lot of people that deal with like depression and stuff like that, they can go either way, but it's their mental state that's affecting their perception of time is the point that I'm trying to make. So I want to lay those things out because now we want to, as we wrap this up, I want to start trying to lay down the foundation as far as some things or some things that you can do to help you get a better grasp on your time, on your 86,400 seconds, right? And, so the first thing that you need to do is you need to slow down, right? Whether you're at work or whether you're with your family or whatever, like if you just take 10 seconds to just slow down, I'm a big proponent of breathing. Slow down, like take a step back in your mind and breathe, right? 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And seconds seem like nothing, but you'd be surprised how just harnessing those 15 seconds to just recalibrate your mind can change the whole trajectory of your day. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's 5 seconds right there. I got my timer on. That was 5 seconds. But that 5 seconds, just take a break and just kind of like gather yourself. I always tell myself and I tell my wife when we talk, what I mean? I'm like I tell them, I say, I gotta find Dwayne. That's my middle name. I mean? People that know me intimately, they know me by that name. Let me find Wilfred. Let me find where he's at. Because sometimes you get so crazy, your life gets so crazy, and you're all over the place, and you spread so thin. You got to find like, where am I at? How am I feeling? So you just take a moment to kind of like, okay, hold on, give me a second, let me just breathe. Sometimes when I'm working, I feel like I'm getting overwhelmed. Like it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stimuli. A lot of stuff going on at real fast pace, and I just got to take a step. Okay, hold on, let me just breathe for a second. Get my thoughts together. Like, okay, how do I want to proceed? How do I want to proceed with this? You have more time than you think. You just have to properly utilize your time, right? You know what I mean? So slow your mind down. Utilize the seconds and the minutes that you have. Instead of letting them just run away from you, grab them. They're yours. Grab them, use them. Each second, you have a choice of how you want to use it. Grab it, slow everything down, use your time, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is check your preoccupations. Check the stuff that you got in your mind that, like, check your activities, check the stuff that you're doing that's speeding you up so fast. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked about how we live in a world, like I said, we have created an artificial reality. And what I mean by that is, like I said, all these lights, all this technology that we have that helps us to operate outside of the natural order of time. And all these things, they are affecting us. Like I said, this sounds like sci-fi stuff that I'm talking about, but you got to really understand. Just all you got to do is just think about it for a second, and you'll understand that what I'm talking about is true. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that you have to turn off all lights and shut down all servers and shut down the computers and the internet, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't gonna be that drastic. Once again, going back to the original point, you have control over your time. So you have control over how long you keep your lights on and when you decide to turn them off. You understand when you have your how much time you want to give yourself to watch TV and Netflix, and when you want to turn it off. You have control. As much as it may not seem like it, you still have control over this little device that you have in your hand and how much attention that you give to it. You choose. You know what I mean? And so, you look at those notifications, tell you how much time that you've been on your phone. You should set some time about how much time I'm gonna give, how much of my time I am going to give to this device. How much of my time am I going to give away to these apps? Like, you have to make those decisions, and it is absolutely within your power to do so. We, like, our world and our society is so, it has such uh um like it's addictive. How the word I was thinking was like addictive personality, but that is like that defines our society. Like, everybody feel like they're addicted to all these different, and like everything is being marketed to you. Unfortunately, people, and I understand the business of marketing and like trying to brand things, try to grab attention because that's your job, right? You have a business, and your business wants to be successful, so you have to try to be very mindful about how you, the audience that you, the audience that you target, how you market to them, how you keep your product in front of them and and impose upon them that they're a desire to want your product and things of that nature, right? It's a science to all of that stuff. But there's a very thin line between marketing and manipulation, right? And I think that a lot of people have crossed the line with marketing, and they're just manipulative, and they're creating things to make them addictive, to make people like lose control, to make people feel like they can't live without it. It's the same chemical releases in your brain, like when you're addicted to any kind of substance. It's the same mechanisms that they've tapped into to make people addicted to their products, addicted to these phones, addicted to these apps. Like, you know what I mean? And so but with an addiction, the reality is that you still have control over your body. And I think, like I said, I understand, there being a necessity sometimes for some medicine because, especially when you talk about substance abuse and things of that nature, right? But the reality remains the same. You still have control over your body and your mind. You do. Like this concept that you cannot stop and you cannot control yourself is not true. You always have control over your body and over your mind. It's just a matter of retraining your body, retraining your mind to function in the way that you want it to function. It's no different than people that have bad eating habits and then they have to retrain their body and retrain their mind to eat other foods than what they used to eat. It's no different than people are grossly obese, overweight, and they have to retrain their body and retrain their mind to become more fit. It's the same concept. You have control. You just have to exercise that control. And number one, you have to believe that you have the control. Like, now listen, is this stuff easy? No, it's not easy. It can be difficult. It can be very difficult. Now, I'm not even trying to pretend like it, but before you can make any kind of adjustment, you have to first understand the process. You got to understand what it is and what it's not. You have to adjust your perceptions. You have to adjust your expectations. And then you can start making the adjustments, right? The adjustments in your behavior and like I say, mental and your physical behaviors, right? Like then you can start, but you have to first see it first. That's the key. And so I'm on recap as we close this and wrap this up. Listen, you get the same amount of time that Adam had. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing changed. You know what I mean? Like your great 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 grandfather had the same amount of time that you have. All the people that were able to build these great pyramids, they had the same amount of time that you have. There's no differences. Nobody living outside of a time. So you get to choose what you do. I don't want people talking about I don't have enough time. No, you do. You just have to figure out how you're gonna get it done. And then you have to execute. That's what it comes down to. You're wasting time. You're letting your time that belongs to you, you're giving it away too freely. You need to reclaim it. Figure out how you want to utilize it best for yourself and use the information in the video, and I'm sure you can get it done, okay? I want to thank you for listening, tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you are following the Facebook group, logging in and getting involved with that. Good conversation going on over there. If you're listening, please, please, please hit the follow button and leave a review. I want to thank the people that have taken heed to my call, you know what I'm saying, and left a review already. I just want to continue to encourage people to do so. It really, really helps the program to grow and it gives information. If you found this information useful, please just leave a quick comment. We can extend the conversation. I mean, maybe we can help some more people because that's what this thing is all about. Humans helping humans, okay? So we out of here, man. We're going to leave you like we always do, asking that you stay safe, stay blessed, and please stay human. We out.